Hey, this is Todd. I'm just a regular dude walking in the Word. Hey, don't you get tired of you're driving in your car and you see these billboards and you hear these ads and everything of personal injury attorneys and all this stuff? It's like all over the place now. These law offices want to, uh, you know, take care of you, and if you've suffered, we're there to make them pay and stuff like that. Um, you get tired of it after a while. Like, man, and the thing is, if people would take responsibility over the actions that they've done, those attorneys would go out of business because they'd be like, well, this person, they did wrong to me, but they took care of me, so I don't need to sue them. All right. This today, again, we're in Exodus 21, and these are laws that God gave to the people to help to protect them. Okay, God didn't do it to be mean, but he did it to protect them. We talked about servants last time, and the thing was, God said, you were slaves in Egypt. I have no intention of you guys becoming slaves again. So if it happened that they did become a slave, it was only for 6 years. Okay, but let's read here today. This is about personal injuries, really, and it's entitled "Take Responsibility." So let's read here today. This is Exodus 21, verses 12 through 36. All right. It says this: anyone who strikes a person with a fatal blow is to be put to death. However, if it is not done intentionally, but God lets it happen, they are to flee to a place I will designate. But if anyone schemes and kills a person deliberately, that person is to be taken from my altar and put to death. Anyone who attacks their father or mother is to be put to death. Anyone who kidnaps someone is to be put to death, whether the victim has been sold or is still living in the kidnapper's possession. Anyone who curses their father or mother is to be put to death. A lot of death happening right here with this. If you do these things, it was a death sentence. All right, pretty cut and dried. If you murdered a person and it was premeditated, a death sentence for you. Okay, a harsh one here though is if you curse your father or mother, you're put to death. All right, so people were respecting their father and mother back in that day because of this. So, today there's a movement to get rid of capital punishment, but it's God's plan that if you do a crime, you've kind of chosen for yourself to die, because you know good and well, if I murder somebody, I deserve to die. Okay, that's what the punishment would be. So anyway, it's part of capital. I won't get into that whole thing now. You could do like 10 episodes on that. But let's keep reading. Verse 18, if people quarrel and one person hits another with a stone or with their fist, and the victim does not die but is confined to a bed, the one who struck the blow will not be held liable if the other can get up and walk around outside with a staff. However, if the guilty party must pay the injured person for any loss of time and see that the victim is completely healed. Okay, again, compensating if you've injured somebody. Verse 20, anyone who beats their male or female slave with a rod must be punished if the slave dies as a direct result. But they are not punished if the slave recovers after a day or two, since the slave is their property. Okay, kind of a sad thing. You can beat your slave because, unfortunately, that's your property. But if you kill the slave, you're in trouble. Verse 22, if people are fighting and hit a pregnant woman and she gives birth prematurely, but there is no serious injury, the offender must be fined whatever the woman's husband demands and the court allows. But if there is a life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot, burn for burn, wound for wound, bruise for bruise. I'm going to stop there. This is it's kind of payback, but it's to protect you. Again, these laws are there to protect you. What has happened in the past is people have said, oh, and this, you can read this. A good place to read where this happened is Huckleberry Finn, I believe, was the story, where you had one family fighting against another family because this family accidentally, they were out, working in the field or something, and one guy accidentally died. Well, so the one family accuses the other family of murder, so they kill a person. Well, in turn, then they kill two people, and then because of that, it's three people. So it's going back and forth, and in that book, Huckleberry Finn, it keeps going, and finally at the end, they're like, what did this whole thing start over? We forget. But it's a back and forth, and it's always like, if you hit me in the face, I'm not going to just hit you back in the face. I'm going to hit you like twice as hard, okay? And that's what God was trying to prevent by this tooth for tooth thing here, okay? Verse 26, an owner who hits a male or female slave in the eye and destroys it must let the slave go, free to compensate for the eye. Let the slave go to compensate for the eye. So you hit the slave in the eye, the slave can go free, although he has a busted up eye. And an owner who knocks out the tooth of a male or female slave must let the slave go free to compensate for the tooth. If a bull gores a man or a woman to death, the bull is to be stoned to death, and its meat must not be eaten. But the owner of the bull must not be held responsible. If, however, the bull has had the habit of goring and the owner has not been warned, but has not kept it penned up, and it kills a man or a woman, the bull is to be stoned, and its owner also is to be put to death. However, if payment is demanded, the owner may redeem his life by the payment of whatever is demanded. This law also applies if a bull gores a son or a daughter. If the bull gores a male or female slave, the owner must pay 30 shekels of silver to the master or of the slave, and the bull is to be stoned to death. Okay? Again, this is a perfect example of taking responsibility. If you have a bull and he gets away and he gores someone, goes after someone and kills someone, and it was accidental, like he happened to bust through the gate and did this, killed that person, and it was an accident how he got out, then you're not held liable for it. But if this bull has done it several times, of busted out at the gate, and you've done nothing about fixing the gate good so he doesn't get out, well, then you're held responsible for it, okay? So this is where this whole thing comes. You need to be responsible for your actions. Verse 33, if anyone uncovers a pit or digs one and fails to cover it, and the ox or donkey falls into it, the one who's opened the pit must pay the owner for the loss and take the dead animal in exchange. Okay? Again, doing right for what you've done wrong. Verse 35, if anyone's bull injures someone else's bull and it dies, the two parties are to sell the live one and divide both the money and the dead animal equally. However, if it was known that the bull had a habit of goring, yet the owner did not keep it penned up, the owner must pay animal for animal and take the dead animal in exchange. Okay? Again, it's animal for animal, not, if you killed my bull, I get two of your bulls. Not like that. No, it's bull for bull, okay, to keep things equal and not have them escalate, way out of control. Okay, but the big thing here is take responsibility. You can apply this to your life today. You don't have bulls that are getting out or something, but if you have something that you're responsible for, take responsibility for it and make it right. And that's what God is saying to do here with the Hebrew people. If you do something wrong where you're the one responsible for it, you need to make those things right. Thanks for watching. I'm a regular dude walking in the Word, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow as we continue our journey through Exodus. Lord's blessing. I'll see you then.